It just proves that I don't take the right precautions to be on the safe side. A lesson learned. This is actually a lot more stressful than I thought it was going to be. I was sent through the coordinates to this incredible campsite. It literally sits at the top of a waterfall. Good morning guys, welcome back to another video. Now, the weather has been so hit and miss, like I'm not even kidding. One second it's like raining, thunderstorms, and the next second it is blue skies like it is right now, which I was not expecting because my original plan is I was just going to sort of hug towards the coast, but when it's really like rainy and miserable, I just feel like waterfalls are just so much better, and I just happened to be passing through Coffs Harbour, so I was like, you know what, let's go inland. Now, I decided to come out here literally this morning, so I haven't planned a single thing. I do have an idea of where I want to camp. There is this really cool campsite that I want to get to, but for the time being, we're just gonna make it up as we go. So right now, I did find a really beautiful creek that we can potentially go for a swim at. We do have to take a four-wheel drive track to get out there, so a little bit of excitement first up this morning. So let's get to it, and hopefully, with all the rain, I feel like that should definitely make all of these swimming spots even better. Even though I now have a snorkel on the BT, driving through puddles by myself still terrifies me because I'm like, what if I get stuck? I do not have a winch, so that's something I do have to be really careful of, but I just used a stick just to test the water depth. I don't think any of it is deeper than like half a meter, so it should be pretty fine. Some sections are a little bit muddy though, so we'll chuck it in four-wheel drive and just see how we go. This is actually a lot more stressful than I thought it was going to be. There is a lot more water crossings than I anticipated, but it has been raining a fair bit. I can pretty much see where we want to get to, but we just have to get past this last little section. So I'm just going to check the depth. I'm probably being overcautious, but I would rather be safe than sorry. So if that means I have to get out of the car and check every single puddle that we go through, I will do it. Joys of not having a plan. I actually don't know if I either A, took a turn off that I wasn't supposed to, or B, maybe I just didn't pull up where I was supposed to, because there wasn't really anywhere to stop along the way, and I've just gotten to what I would classify as like the end of the track. There is this dodgy as bridge which we are not driving over. Now, I don't really know what to do here because I did see a couple of good swimming spots well and truly back at the start, so I think we might just turn around here and then figure out where we can stop along the way so I can go for a bit of a swim and honestly de-stress. Like, that was so stressful going through that track, but I can confidently say the bush wraps has held up better than I expected. There's not a single scratch, and we were just driving through some pretty tight sections there. So I'm pretty sure I did find the spot that I was looking for, but as I mentioned, there is virtually nowhere to park around here, which is such a shame because that looks absolutely stunning. I might be able to drive down a little bit further and see if there's anything, but it's just a really tight track. After all that, I did actually find somewhere to park, thank God. If I came all the way in here for nothing, I would be very disappointed. So I'm going to change into swimmers and we'll head on down there. This is actually the best, and I literally have the entire place to myself. Now, I could be wrong. I think there is supposed to be slides, so I feel like when there's enough water, that turns into a slide which you can go down. Obviously, we've got water running, but not that much that we can, but still incredible. We got a little bit of sunshine at least, but it looks like we've got some rain clouds coming over, so I'm going to get out of here before any more water goes onto that track, and then I think we'll head on over to our campsite for tonight. So I did actually have a few campsites to choose from, but I was sent through the coordinates to this incredible campsite. I'm going to say it's like off the beaten path, but like incredible views. It literally sits at the top of a waterfall. The track getting in here was literally worse than the track I took this morning. So if the BT doesn't have like a whole heap of new pinstripes, I would be very shocked. Although, I don't know if you guys know this, but the canopy that I've got on, it's powder coated. You actually can't put the bush wraps onto the powder coating. I think it leaves like air bubbles or something along those lines. So once I give the BT a bit of a wash, I think that will be the clear indication as to the scratches on the actual canopy versus like onto the cab where the PPF has been put onto. So I'm really curious to see how that does turn out. But as far as the campsite, so Sam at Harbour Explore, this area is like literally his backyard. So if you don't already follow him over on Instagram and YouTube, like highly recommend it. He's the one that shared this spot with me. We have one more obstacle to get through to get over to the campsite. There is a couple of campsites right here behind me. So I'm going to check out this little crossing that we have to do. If I feel like it's too sketchy, I can always come back here and camp. But let's check this out and then we'll make that decision. That is actually so cold. So I'm just going to walk this first. I might even suss out the campsite before I make the trip over there as well. I could be wrong, but I think I'm on the right side, which is so weird because I followed all the coordinates and it's come out this way. So I guess I don't have to cross over the river because I just did a bit of a walk and there's like no campsites there. I don't have any reception here and I can't even get the Starlink to connect. So I might even just throw up the drone and suss out that way, but maybe this is where we're camping for tonight. Also, look at all the spiders on my car. That is disgusting. This is definitely the spot. I just threw the drone up and literally there's nothing on the other side, so no need to do the creek crossing. I'm going to save the drone shots until a little bit later. I think we'll get set up for camp, get a fire going, because these drone shots will literally just like blow your mind. This spot is insane. I'm all set up for camp now. I ended up moving the car like 20 times because it's not exactly the most flat surface, but I think I managed to get it relatively flat. Found a little bit of firewood, although because it's been raining a fair bit, I'm not even sure if that's going to burn given that everything's pretty damp at the moment. So we are more or less set up for tonight. So I'm going to go for a little bit of a walk. I'm not going to do it today, but apparently there is a track that you can take to get down to the base of the falls. But I think for today, we might just stick to the top of it. Oh my god. That is actually the first time I've ever seen a brown snake literally out in the wild throughout my entire travels, which is really scary because it just proves that I don't take the right precautions to be on the safe side of those. So lesson learned, but now I'm gonna have to be on the lookout. I'm really not sure if we're going to get a nice sunset tonight. It's like blue skies in some patches, but then it almost looks like there's rain clouds coming over in other sections. So I might get cooking a little bit earlier, get a fire going, get the drone up, show you guys these incredible spots. Even if we end up having a good sunset, I can always throw the drone back up for that. One thing I do forget when I'm back in New South Wales is the sun poked through before and I was like, oh, the sun's still really high in the sky. And I was like, even though it's 5 o'clock, that's technically 4 o'clock. So I'm having a really early dinner if that's the case, but I feel like I've got to adjust to the time differences anyway. So we're just going to roll with 5 p.m. and it just means that we've got a little bit longer until the sun sets anyway. So for dinner, I'm just going to be making like a creamy garlic chicken. So I'm going to be doing some mashed potato as the base. I'm just going to cut up the potatoes, boil them off, and then we can get the chicken prepped in the meantime. So I've just gone ahead and stored the chicken breast. I'm actually going to do 2 servings and that way I've got some leftovers for tomorrow as well. But we're just going to coat our chicken breast in salt and pepper, some garlic powder and paprika, and then I'm just going to let that marinate. I might even put some oil on it as well just to help it all marinate together. And then we're just going to pan fry that on either side. So potatoes are ready, so I'm just going to let them rest and we can get the chicken going. I have just diced up some onion, garlic and some parsley. That's going to go in our sauce later on. So I'm going to take the chicken off now because we're only browning this. Then we're going to make our sauce in that fry pan and then we're going to add the chicken back in. So into the fry pan we're going to put our diced onion. Once that's brown, we can add in our garlic and just let that brown off again for about a minute or so. From there, I just made up some chicken stock. I'm gonna chuck in our parsley, and then I'm also going to add in some thickened cream and then some lime juice. From there, we can add our chicken back in, and then I'm just gonna pop a lid on and let that cook all the way through now. That actually came together way quicker than I thought it was going to. For some reason, I thought I would have the fire going and the sun would be setting by the time it was done. I'd probably say the sauce is a little bit on the thin side. Like I probably could have taken a bit of the chicken stock out, maybe more cream in instead, but it looks delicious. This is not the most beautiful setting to wake up to. Even falling asleep, that sound was so peaceful. I'm thinking we have to detour out of here via Dorrigo and Waterfall Way. So I feel like there's a few other spots that we can stop off at before I close off this video today. So I reckon we'll pack down camp and then we'll get on the road. So I thought I'd come out and do the Crystal Showers walk first. This is like 3.2 kilometers, but it takes you past a couple of different waterfalls, which will be incredible. It is very much like rainforest vibes. Like, I'm sure you guys can hear all the birds in the background. It's actually really peaceful. So we'll get to this hike. I think the first one is the Crystal Showers. I think that's the first waterfall we'll go past. So there's one more waterfall along this track, which is Tristania Falls, I think it is, but I just went past a sign and it was like sticky taped over. So whether or not that means that it's closed or maybe just someone's put that sticky tape there for no reason, we're still going to go for a little bit of a walk. Might as well check it out whilst we're here. Looks like it is actually closed, but there is this really beautiful lookout. So we'll check this out and then we'll backtrack, and I think I'll see if I can find one more waterfall. There is also the creepiest thing in that tree right now. So as you're driving down Waterfall Way, there's a couple of waterfalls that literally go underneath the road, which is really cool to see. I did stop off at Newell Falls, got a few really cool shots there, but otherwise that wraps up this week's video. Hopefully you guys loved the little bit more of off the beaten path tracks that we took in this video. It's definitely a lot of excitement, but for now I need to go and give the BT a good wash, go to the gym, have a shower myself. So either way, I will see you guys all next week.